If you've been wondering the same thing, you're definitely not alone. Over the last few years, the stock market has surprised almost everyone. We've seen incredible rallies, unexpected pullbacks, record-breaking technology investments, and headlines changing almost every single day. One week, everyone is excited. The next week, people are talking about a crash. It can feel impossible to know what's really happening. But here's something I've learned over years of studying the market. The biggest investment opportunities usually don't come from following headlines. They come from understanding where money is quietly flowing before everyone else starts talking about it. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. In this video, I'm not going to tell you to throw your money into random trending stocks. I'm not here to promise overnight riches or guarantee the next 10-bagger. Instead, we're going to look at companies with real businesses, growing earnings, strong cash flow, and long-term opportunities. These are the kinds of businesses many experienced investors pay attention to because they have solid foundations, not just excitement. Now, before we begin, I need to say something important. This video is for educational purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing here is financial advice. Every investment comes with risk, and you should always do your own research before making any decisions. With that said, if I personally were building a portfolio from scratch in 2026, these are exactly the areas I'd spend the most time researching. Some of these names are obvious. Some might surprise you. And one of them isn't even a traditional AI company, but it could benefit enormously from the AI revolution. So make sure you stay until the end. Let's begin. Before choosing stocks, understand what's really driving the market. Whenever people think about investing, they usually ask, asterisk, what's the hottest stock? Asterisk. But experienced investors ask a different question. Asterisk, what's driving the economy? Asterisk. Because once you understand the biggest trends, finding strong companies becomes much easier. Right now, one trend continues to dominate almost everything. Artificial intelligence. But here's something many people misunderstand. AI isn't just about chatbots or creating images anymore. It's becoming part of healthcare, manufacturing, banking, transportation, education, cybersecurity. Almost every major industry is investing billions of dollars into AI. That means companies aren't just buying software anymore. They're building massive data centers, installing expensive networking equipment, purchasing specialized computer chips, upgrading power systems, improving cooling infrastructure. And all of that creates opportunities far beyond the companies making headlines. Think about it this way. During a gold rush, some people searched for gold. But many of the biggest fortunes were made by the businesses selling picks, shovels, tools, and supplies. Today's AI revolution is surprisingly similar. Sometimes the companies supporting the boom become just as important as the companies creating it. And that's where our first opportunity begins. Stock idea number 1, Vertiv Holdings. One company that's quietly become incredibly important is Vertiv Holdings. Now, if you've never heard of Vertiv before, don't worry. Most people haven't. But many of the world's largest technology companies know exactly who they are. Here's why. Every AI data center produces an enormous amount of heat. Without advanced cooling systems and reliable power infrastructure, those powerful AI servers simply can't operate efficiently. That's exactly where Vertiv comes in. The company designs and provides cooling systems, backup power solutions, and digital infrastructure that help keep data centers running around the clock. In simple words, as companies continue investing billions into AI infrastructure, many of those facilities need the kinds of systems Vertiv specializes in. That's one reason investors have been paying close attention to the company. What's encouraging isn't just the excitement around AI. It's that the business has also reported strong demand for its products, helping support revenue growth over recent years. Now, does that mean the stock will only go up? Absolutely not. Every stock experiences ups and downs. Competition changes. Economic conditions change. Valuations change. That's why smart investors don't buy simply because a stock has been popular. Instead, they ask, asterisk, can this business continue growing over the next 5 to 10 years? Asterisk. That's a much better question. Stock idea number 2, Dell Technologies. Now here's another company that many people think they already understand. Dell. For years, people mostly associated Dell with personal computers. But today's Dell is very different from the company many remember. The explosion of artificial intelligence has created enormous demand for high-performance servers capable of handling advanced AI workloads. Large businesses, cloud providers, research organizations, many of them need powerful hardware. And Dell has positioned itself as one of the companies supplying those systems. What makes Dell especially interesting is that it isn't relying on just one business. It has multiple sources of revenue, strong relationships with enterprise customers, and continues expanding its AI-related offerings. That's important because diversified businesses often have more flexibility when one part of the economy slows down. Another thing many long-term investors appreciate, but companies that consistently generate healthy cash flow often have more resources to invest in future growth, pay down debt, or return value to shareholders. That's one reason Dell continues appearing on many investors' watch lists. Of course, every quarterly earnings report matters. Technology changes quickly. Competition is intense. So it's important to keep monitoring how the business performs instead of assuming today's success automatically continues forever. That's what disciplined investing looks like. You follow the business, not the hype. And speaking of businesses that quietly power almost everything in modern technology, the next company may be one of the most overlooked beneficiaries of the entire AI boom. Stock idea number 3, Cisco Systems. Let's continue with a company that many investors almost forgot about. For years, Cisco was often viewed as a mature technology company. It wasn't grabbing headlines like the newest AI startups, and because of that, many people stopped paying attention. But sometimes, the most interesting opportunities are hiding in businesses that everyone already knows. Think about this for a second. Every time an AI model answers a question, every time a business uploads data to the cloud, every time thousands of computers communicate inside a massive data center, something has to move all that information safely and efficiently. That's where networking becomes essential. And networking has been Cisco's strength for decades. The company provides networking equipment, cybersecurity solutions, and software that help businesses connect and protect their digital infrastructure. As companies continue expanding AI systems, reliable and secure networks become even more important. Without strong networking, even the world's fastest AI chips can't perform at their best. That's why many analysts continue watching Cisco closely. Another reason investors like Cisco is that it has historically generated solid cash flow while also returning capital to shareholders through dividends and share repurchases. Now, does that mean Cisco will suddenly become the fastest growing company in America? Probably not. But investing isn't always about finding the fastest company. Sometimes it's about finding durable businesses that continue creating value year after year. And that's a lesson many successful investors understand very well. Stock idea number 4, AMD. Now let's talk about one of the biggest names in semiconductors. AMD. If you've followed the market over the last few years, you've probably heard this name many times. The reason is simple. Artificial intelligence requires enormous computing power. That computing power comes from advanced chips. AMD has spent years improving its processors for personal computers, gaming systems, servers, and increasingly, AI workloads. As businesses invest more heavily in data centers, demand for powerful processors continues to grow. That's one reason AMD remains on the radar of many long-term investors. But here's something important to remember. Technology stocks often experience larger price swings than many other sectors. Sometimes expectations become extremely high. When that happens, even a good earnings report may not satisfy investors. That's why valuation always matters. A wonderful company can still become an expensive investment if expectations get too far ahead of reality. That's one of the biggest mistakes new investors make. They fall in love with a company instead of evaluating the price they're paying for it. Successful investing requires both a great business and a reasonable valuation, a trend that many investors are still underestimating. Now here's something that doesn't receive nearly enough attention. Everyone talks about AI chips. Everyone talks about software. But very few people talk about